Let me introduce myself. My name is Widia Octa Fitriani, Accounting Class 23 a NPM to 3412022. In this video, I will present material about the basics of taxation, meaning of tax, definition of tax according to Professor Dr. Rochmatsoemitro, S.H., in Brotodihajo, 1993. Taxes are people's contributions to the state treasury based on law, which can be enforced, without receiving reciprocal services, counter-performance, which can be directly demonstrated, and which are used to pay for public expenses. Definition of tax according to Professor Dr. M.J.H. Smiths, in Brotodihajo, 1993. Tax is an achievement owed to the government through general norms and which can be enforced, without any counter-performance that can be demonstrated in individual terms. It is intended to finance government expenditure. Principles of Taxation. Adam Smith, 1776, in his book Wealth of Nations argued that a good tax must have the following characteristics. 1. Equity. It should be fair to different individuals and should reflect a person's ability to pay. 2. Certainty. It should not be arbitrary, it should be certain. 3. Convenience. It should be convenient in terms of timing and payment. 4. Efficiency. It should be administratively efficient with a relatively small cost of collection as a proportion of the revenue raised. It should not cause economic distortion by affecting the behavior of taxpayers. Types of levies. Other than taxes. Apart from taxes, there are several types of official levies imposed by the government, including 1. Retribution, levies imposed as compensation for certain services or services provided by the government, such as parking fees, market fees, and health service fees. Levies are usually divided into 3 main categories, namely, 1. Public service levy is a levy charged for services provided to the community, where the benefits are felt by many people. Examples include fees for cleaning services, parking, and public transportation services. 2. Business services levy is a levy imposed on services provided by the government that are commercial in nature. Examples are levies imposed on markets, hotels, and restaurants. 3. Special levy is a levy that applies to certain services or activities that are not included in the categories above. For example, levies for building permits, IMB, or levies for the use of certain locations for certain activities. 2. Donations, voluntary fees that can be made by individuals or entities to support certain activities, for example donations for education or social activities.
Type of tax. Taxes according to class. 1. Direct tax, namely tax that must be borne by the taxpayer himself and the burden cannot be transferred to other parties. Example, income tax. 2. Indirect tax, namely a tax whose burden can be transferred to another party. Example, value-added tax. Taxes according to their nature. 1. Subjective tax, namely tax that stems from or is based on the subject, and then objective conditions are sought, in the sense of paying attention to the personal condition of the taxpayer. Example, income tax. 2. Objective tax, namely tax based on its object, without taking into account the personal condition of the taxpayer. Example, value-added tax. Taxes according to collecting institutions. 1. Central tax, namely tax collected by the central government and used to finance the state ladder. Examples, income tax, value-added tax, and sales tax on luxury goods. 2. Regional tax, namely tax collected by the regional government and used to finance regional households. Regional taxes consist of provincial tax. Examples, motor vehicle tax, vehicle fuel tax, and surface water tax. 3. Regency/city tax, examples, advertising tax, restaurant lighting tax, and entertainment tax. Tax function. 1. Budget function. The budgetary's function in taxation is as a source of state income, which functions to finance state expenses. Taxes fill state coffers and also play a role in regulating government policy, as well as involving the public and business entities in providing state funding. 2. Regulating function. Fungsi pengatran atau regulasi dalam perpajakan memiliki beberapa peran penting dalam perekonomian dan masyarakat secara keseluruhan. That was my explanation. I apologize if there are any wrong words. Hopefully it's useful, thank you.